All right. I see a lot of people tuning in. Thank you so much for tuning in to Ask an Athlete Ambassador Live. My name is Lauren Lubin April, Senior Director of Community Impact at the Women's Sports Foundation and your host. You know, here at the Women's Sports Foundation, we're not concerned that sports is on hold because no matter what, we keep playing. Each and every week I am talking to some of the greatest female athletes in the world, featuring some of our amazing WSF community partners to bring just a little bit of fun, inspiration, and sport back into our lives. Now you may be wondering, why am I wearing these ridiculously cool shades? Well, that's because today's guest is just really, really cool. Like, she's just cool. She also happens to be one of the fastest women on the track. She's a two-time Olympic gold medalist, an NCAA 400-meter champion and record setter, an entrepreneur, a fashionista, a dear friend of the Women's Sports Foundation, and her most recent accolade, she is the mom of baby Liam. If you don't know, now you know. We are talking with Natasha Hastings. Natasha, I'm coming to get you really quickly.
Hi.
What's up?
Speaking of momming,
I wore my coolest glasses that I could find for you.
I love it. I love it.
How are you? I love that Liam is making a little cameo. Hey guys.
Say
Hi. Oh, so cute. How are you doing? How are you both doing?
We're great. We're great. We're hanging in there. We're socially distanced, but we're doing. Oh, you want to say hi too? Yes. Tell the people hello.
Hey Liam.
But we're hanging in there. How are you?
Doing well here. I have to say that when I saw a lot of excited people on social media who were getting all hyped about you being here. A lot of people were like, yeah, Tosh, are we close enough for me to call you Tosh at this point?
Yeah, of course.
Okay, Tosh it is. No, we're doing really well here. I'm so excited to have you on here. Like I said, it's a nice moment for us to connect and bring sports and inspiration into our lives when we're all socially distancing from one another.
Right.
But I just want to highlight the fact that you're such an amazing ambassador of sport.
Oh,
you have done so much work for the Women's Sports Foundation. You have visited girls in the community. You have spoken on our behalf. You advocate for the power and impact that sports has in transforming our lives. But more importantly, you started your own foundation to really empower girls. Can you talk a little bit about what inspired you to do that?
Oh man. So, I mean, growing up in New York City and mostly my experience, and then of course, I mean, the likes of Billie Jean King and just seeing the impact that we as women have in sports and just wanting to be a tangible resource. And I think my biggest message and the biggest thing that I've gotten from sport is the relationships that I've created through sport. Yeah. And I mean, when I talk about my board, I single-handedly chose my board members because I know each of them through sport. And so the biggest thing for me is translating that sport isn't necessarily about becoming the Olympian or the professional athlete, but there's so many things that can be learned from sport, whether it be, you know, self-love, self-esteem, this guy, discipline. And then there's, I think you guys even talk about this statistic too, where it's something like 92 or 93% of C-suite level women have played sports at some point in their life. So I just want to be a tangible resource, number one, for girls in sport, but show the true value of what sport is and what sport really means. And it's more than the medals and the championships, but, you know, the community that we create through sport.
Absolutely. I think that's one of the things that we are so passionate about is how transformative sports can be, that it turns you into not only an incredible leader off the field, but I would have to say probably an incredible mom. Are those certain things that you'll even teach little Liam as he gets older and into sports as well?
I think so, and I think I'm already doing it without even realizing. I'm fortunate enough that my mom's down here helping with him. So when we were training at the track, some days she would bring him out to the track. And then now that I'm working out from home, I incorporate him in some of my workouts. And I think it's incredible to see how much they actually pick up on even at this age. Yeah. So, just incorporating him in the exercises that I'm doing, and, hopefully as he gets older and more independent and we can kind of do some fun activities together, I think it's incredibly important for me to share with him how important it is just to be physically active. I don't care if he runs track or plays football like his dad did. I just want him to be physically active.
Okay, we have some moms and who are teachers as well now, who are at home watching. What are ways that you are engaging Liam in your workouts now?
So one of my favorite exercises to incorporate him in is I have a squat to overhead press. He's 8 months now, so he loves being thrown up into the air. So he's my press. So we do that together. He's out here in his jumper, or he should be in his jumper, but he wants mom to hold him right now. So the rest of the exercises that I can't necessarily incorporate him into, he's in there watching me. So we'll do some crunches together where he's my weight, basically. He's my little 18-pound weight.
Someone just commented saying baby running shoes. I absolutely agree.
Agreed. Although he won't keep them on. See, we're losing a sock already. Oh, it's gone.
Well, one shoe at a time, starting with one sock at a time. So I see more and more people tuning in, and for everybody tuning in, I'm just going to do a quick little rundown of what to expect. So I'm going to ask you a couple burning questions that I have on my end, and then we actually have had a number of incredible questions submitted by girls from our community partners in advance. So I'll ask you some of those questions, and I'm also going to take a couple questions from our live viewers. So if you're at home watching, now is the time to start submitting questions for Natasha Hastings. Our team will be collecting them, and we will hopefully be able to get to your question. So I said it, I want to go back to it. The Olympics, the postponement of the Olympics. You have openly talked about the fact that, this was going to be your last go. You really want to end on a high note. But before we begin to that, I want to go back to your extraordinary journey. This is not just in this, what I'd have to say, an unfathomable pandemic that we're living in, that obstacle, but the fact that less than a year ago, you welcomed Liam into the world. You were a new mom, and you still had your sights set on Tokyo 2020. So my first question is, are you Superwoman?
I don't even know how to answer that. I was crazy. I think, my pregnancy was unplanned, but I want a family, so there was never the idea the idea was not now, but it was now, and so I was just like, I have to roll with it. I'm honest about the fact that it took a while for me to be excited with my pregnancy, because I was going through, again, not now, the timing of telling my sponsors, feeling like I had disappointed everyone, which, the way my family and my sponsors, everyone embraced me, it was like, now to think about that, it was so ridiculous. But ultimately, I never give up. And especially now with a child, I want to be able to look him in the eye one day. And I don't know how this thing is going to turn out, but mom didn't give up. Mom stayed in the fight, and she gave it her best. And so, my biggest thing has been, walking away from this on my own terms. And I think, the postponement kind of was like a gut punch, because it was kind of like, okay, now I have to re-strategize, refocus, rethink things. But at the end of the day, I want to be able to say that, I walked away from this the way that I want to. And the way that I want to is knowing that I gave it 100%, and I will not look back on this and have any regrets. So, yeah. So important. I know, it's crazy though.
Yeah, it's honestly remarkable to just see what is unfolded in these past 7 to 8 months, and your journey to get here. And there are so many athletes when we talk about, especially in sprinting, peaking at the right time, having all of your performance come together and that build up. Do you see the postponement and doing this on your own terms as something that actually maybe benefits in the long run, or are there ways to deal with the disappointment in a positive way?
So it's kind of twofold. In the one sense, a lot of my friends and coaches were even like, this gives you more time to heal from your pregnancy. We know you feel great. We know that you've been dedicated, but this gives you time to heal from childbirth, which I will be the first to admit, I thought I had it. Like, I trained up until the day before I had him.
Yeah.
And then I started training, and, by day 3, I peed on myself, and I was like, nobody told me about this. What's going on? I'm losing control of things here.
Yeah.
But, so there's that aspect of it. But then there's the unknown aspect where, as athletes, we are so in control of everything, and we know the dates, and we know our schedule of like, okay, I'm training for this meet. And so, my periodization cycle, my training cycle is built on, me being ready for the trials, being ready for this track meet, being ready for the games. We don't know. I mean, we went a whole week without even knowing when the games would be postponed till. And then, now there's the added, we don't even know when our next track meet is. But, still finding the motivation to do what we can. I'm doing most of my workouts here in my backyard and in my neighborhood. It's do the best that you can. I mean, the one piece of solace that I have found is that, it's kind of cliche, but we are in this together, and everyone around the globe is pretty much, in a shelter in place in some form or fashion. So, all of our training routines have been altered or interrupted. And so we're all trying to do the best that we can. But I feel like the biggest challenge is that not knowing. Are we going to have a track season this summer? Are we not? And then if we are, how it impacts our training for next season. Like, these are all things that we have to think about and keep in mind when we start training for next season.
Well, as you said, one of the things that you learn through sport is how to adapt, right? And how to adjust and adapt. And champions do adjust. And even if that means doing body weight and baby weight, in the shelter in place is one of those ways in which we can adjust. But is it safe to say that you still are ready to go for 2021 and still have your sights set?
Yeah, I think, to be totally honest, I took a couple of days where, it was emotional because it was, again, being a control freak and feeling like something was taken away from me without having any say or control in it. And I want to be clear that I do think that the right decision was made. But I had to take some time to process it. I'm a mom, I'm a single mom. And so there was that aspect of it that, again, every decision that I make affects my son. And so I had to, while I have the emotional response to it, I have to also have the logical approach to it and, what's right for me and my family. But I'm 100% still on board. I'm adjusting as best I can. And I will be taking the bid for Tokyo 2021.
That's amazing. I just saw somebody comment in too that says, adapt, motivation, preparation for the unknown. You're speaking so many truths right now. And I actually know that I have a couple of personal friends who are in the running community and aspiring elite runners who their seasons are on hold. Their seasons are postponed. They are, everything has been at a halt. So for some of these aspiring girls who are looking up to you, can you talk about the power of, like you said, keeping those goals, although you may be entering the unknown, but the power of still setting goals and trying to attain those goals, even when it's uncertain as to what the future may look like?
So I think the biggest thing that I think holds true in all circumstances is try to focus on the things that you have control over, right? We don't know when or if they're going to have a season this summer. But what I do know is what I can do here. Yeah. And so some of that, I think, is, even monitoring the things that I'm taking in on social media. I'm very big on mental health and like the things that I'm taking in and feeding my mind with. So I think now, especially, you know, when we're locked up in the house, basically, these four walls can get, you know, there's so much energy that I think we're used to releasing that, you know, if we just sit in the house and we don't release that energy, it's a recipe for disaster. So I think it's about feeding your mind with positive information, positive things, whether it doesn't even have to be like a self-help book, but, you know, pleasure reading, but also get out and exercise. You know, my post, I think it was yesterday or day before yesterday, where I was like, you know, I know I'm doing the best that I can, but I also feel like I'm losing some of my sharpness. I had some sticks in my garage. I was like, I'm going to run over my sticks. Yeah. But, you know, taking the opportunity to get out and do something, you know, do something with that energy. I had a rough day with him a few days ago. Thank God for my mom. I was like, Mom, please take him.
Thank goodness for mom.
Run for moms are superheroes. I didn't know.
See, you are a superhero.
Yeah, but I handed him off. I went for a run, came back, took a shower, and I felt great. You know, you have to do something with that energy. Yeah. And I think if you spend so much time focusing on, you know, the uncertain, the unknown, it can become draining. So spend more time focusing on what you can control and what you can do with that energy.
Yeah, that's great advice. Another thing that I picked up on too is consistency. Even if something isn't consistent, like stick with your routine and try to do the best to keep it normal, to keep things moving, and more importantly, thank goodness for moms.
Yes, absolutely.
Well, you give such good advice, and on that note, we have a lot of amazing questions from our community partners, and today's featured community partners, you'll love this. Girls on the Run NYC you're a New Yorker, as well as Girls on the Run Philadelphia, and for those who are watching, Girls at Home teaches girls social and emotional skills to inspire girls to be confident, healthy, and joyful through the sport of running. So if you're ready, I'm just going to hit you with some of these great questions that come from our community partners. You ready for that?
Yep.
And Liam, you are more than welcome to answer these questions as well, okay? These are for both of you. So the first question is from Lisette. She is a coach at Girls on the Run Philly. And she wants to know if, as the best female athlete in the world, how do you balance your competitiveness with respect and camaraderie of your teammates and other female athletes that you are competing against?
Ooh, that is a hard one, because especially in the 400. Okay, 1 second.
Yep, go for it. Go for it.
Here. Sorry, he knows what he wants. Especially in the 400, and I guess this could even apply to the 100, where, you know, we compete against each other and then we have to come together for the relay, right? But my rule, honestly, is I leave that stuff on the track, and I'm not really a trash talker or anything like that. But, you know, when we're on the track, we're not friends. But once we cross the finish line, we can be cool. And I think that's easier said than done for some people. Some people are very competitive on and off the track, but I think sometimes it just takes understanding that, like, that's just where that person has to go in order to, you know, bring out I call it my lioness on the track. But it's not anything to take personal. But I mean, it's a thing. It is true, and some people are able to balance it or juggle it better than others. But I mean, I just leave that stuff on the track.
This is from Ava. She is the daughter of Lisette. And Ava wants to know, what other sports do you enjoy besides track and field, and how often do you get to participate in those sports?
So I don't really participate in other sports for a couple of reasons. I didn't play very many sports as a kid, and that's one thing that I regret. I do recommend that kids try every sport before they specialize. And then secondly, I'm accident prone. So I don't want to get injured playing tennis when my job is track. So I just stick to what my job is. But I really, really enjoy tennis. So I watch that. I like volleyball as well. And I watch basketball during like the playoff seasons.
Do you recommend for some of these young athletes to play multiple sports? Because I know early on sometimes when you're good, you have to really lock in there. Is that a recommendation on your end?
You okay? Sometimes I think he wants to eat too fast. I think playing multiple sports is a good thing because I think a lot of those skills are sometimes transferable. And so that's why I say that is my only regret, that I didn't play multiple sports. But if I'm honest, I started running track. I was good at it. I tried basketball. I was horrible. So I was like, I'm going to go back to what I'm good at.
Yeah.
So, but I do think that it's important that you try all things and, you know, learn from the different sports before you specialize.
Natasha, I'm going to tell you a little personal story right here because I'm the opposite of you. Basketball was my sport. I was really good at it. Track, I was awful. And we actually had a track coach in my junior high who thought I'd be an amazing track star. I started out way too fast. I came in absolute last place. The entire everyone, parents were making fun of me. I was like, from that moment on, I was like, I am never running another track meet again. So we're a little bit flip-flop there, but I envy her speed so much. All right, I'm going to do a couple more questions while Liam seems to be content right now. So this is a great question from Melia. She is a participant at NYC, or Girls on the Run NYC. Did you always envision yourself going to the Olympics, and when did it actually become a possibility for you?
So I had the dream when I was 10. It was the 1996 Olympic Games in Atlanta. A little bit of history about my family. My mom and dad both ran track. My mom actually made the 84 Olympic team for Trinidad.
Wow.
So, you know, the Olympics was something we always watched, talked about. And then, you know, of course, when I figured out I was good at it, I was like, oh, okay, maybe one day I want to be an Olympian. And then it became a reality in 2007, my junior year of college. My freshman and sophomore year were kind of rough years, but my junior year was kind of my breakout year on the track. And it was like, okay, I'm going to go for the trials next year. And then in 2008, I made my first Olympic team. You are just, you know, mommy's trying to get something done today, huh?
Yeah.
Huh?
He's just like, look at me. I'm the most important thing.
Yes. Yeah. Yes. You want us to talk about you?
All right. I'm gonna change gears. What's Liam's most favorite thing these days?
I'm gonna say his grandmother. It's something about when she walks in the room that he just looks at her and he lights up and he's like, come get me. He loves his grandmother. Right?
Oh, yeah. All right. Well, I know you have your hands full, and we're so appreciative of your time. We actually had a couple great questions from our community come in, and I just want to give an opportunity for you to answer one or two of them. So this is a great one, and it's relevant right now. It's, what was your experience of being pregnant and postpartum as a competitive athlete?
Okay. Here you go. So honestly, I did not enjoy my pregnancy. And I have this joke that, like, every woman that says they enjoyed pregnancy, I think they're a liar. But I did train through my, pretty much my entire pregnancy. And it was funny because I was still training with my group up until I was about 14 weeks pregnant. Only my coaches knew that I was pregnant. My training partners didn't know. So there was a little bit of like, ha, 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 I'm keeping up with you guys, and you don't even know I'm 3 months pregnant. Yeah. So there was still that level of competitiveness, though, and even as they started to adjust things for me, I was like, you know, I'm pregnant, I'm not dead, I still want to, you know, do some workouts. We're still training for the Olympics next year. And then even after I had the baby, my doctor gave me the clear to get back on the track, and they were like, we want you to relax a little bit. We know there's urgency, but we want you to heal and be ready to go. So, I mean, the competitive edge never left. Obviously, physically things changed, and I was forced to adjust, whether I wanted to or not. But I just did the best that I could, and I did listen to my body. There were days that, on the regular, I trained 5 days a week. But when I was pregnant, I probably trained more like 3 days a week. There were days that I just had to listen, and I couldn't do it. Okay, you want to go with grandma? You want to go with grandma? He's had it. Just give me 1 second. We'll be right back. Okay. Or I'll be right back.
In the meantime, we can all look at my beautiful face, and I can go on and just talk about the fact that I have had the pleasure to work with Natasha Hastings at the Women's Sports Foundation for a number of years. And as I started off this talk, she has been an incredible ambassador for the Women's Sports Foundation, really advocating for the power that sport has to transform girls and women, not just on the track, but off the track, to become leaders in their community. So, Natasha, I was just singing your praises while you left, handed off baby Liam, and talking about, not only all the amazing work that you do, but how much you inspire. So, if you don't mind, I have another amazing question that just came in, and we're getting a lot of love right now, suddenly.
No worries.
By the way, when you were talking about your pregnancy, you were getting like a ton of love. People like, you're doing great. So
thank you.
Yeah, we all support you. It's really remarkable, everything that you're juggling, and the juggle is real. And to be able to stay focused through it all, it's just incredibly impressive. One of the questions that came in is from a 27-year-old who asked, is 4 years enough time to prepare for the Olympics?
Absolutely. And I don't know if he or she is asking from a 27-year-old perspective. I'm 33. I'll be 34 this summer. Age ain't nothing but a number. So I think the 4-year spread is done, on purpose. Of course, we have things in between, but I think 4 years is definitely enough time.
Yeah, awesome. Another question that came in too was, what are ways that you have stayed motivated through all the years of gearing up for these big goals? What was that driving thing that motivated you?
I think you always have to ask yourself why, because it's never, I shouldn't say it's never one thing, but it changes, this year more than ever was a personal year, in that I wanted to be able to prove to myself that I can do this postpartum. Other years there was, 2012, I didn't make the team. And so 13, again, I wanted to show myself that I wasn't washed up and that I could do this. As I got older, having an understanding of who looks up to me and knowing where I came from and what I had to overcome, that became my why. So I think it's always important that you revisit what your why is. And that's the thing that, when you hit that bump in training, or you just have a lack of motivation, that you revisit, well, why am I doing this? And that gives you that sense of motivation again. But I think you have to know your why, and then everything kind of falls into place after that.
I love that. And you seem to have such an amazing focus, even when things can feel unfocused, but really able to drill in on, what is so important to really bring back to, like I said, setting those bigger goals in your life, especially during that great unknown that we're living in, but really, what the future always is, especially for young, aspiring athletes coming up, who have big dreams. It is unknown, but staying focused seems to be such a driving force behind all of it. Someone wants to know why you're so smart. I agree. I saw some hashtags coming in, #Shiro. You have a very loyal, loving community. You know this, right?
Thank you. Yeah. I think why I'm so smart, I think that is, I have to give that to my village. When you talk about community, I think my mother has been incredibly supportive. My family has been incredibly supportive. And, that was across the board, as far as getting my education and being a good human being off the track. You know, track is obviously a big part of my life, but it's not the thing that defines me. And so having a sense of self and awareness and self-love, I have to give that to my village. I mean, even now in this phase of my life, being able to lean into my village to, you know, hand off baby Liam when I got to focus on what's going on here, whether it be training, this live, or, you know, any other work that I'm doing. I think, you know, the people that I've been blessed to be surrounded by and the help that I've gotten over the years definitely is why I'm so smart.
I love it. I'm going to end on that comment because someone just said Natasha is the best, and I agree.
Oh, thank you.
So you've been so generous with your time. Thank you. I'm going to do one final part of this, and for everybody viewing at home, I'm going to move this, but I want to do your favorite house fitness activity right now that's keeping you motivated, that other people at home can participate in as well. And for people who are watching, if you want to submit a video of you doing this, use hashtag WSF Ambassador, tag Natasha Hastings, tag the Women's Sports Foundation. All right, let's see what this is. I'm going to try and see if I can keep up with you here.
Okay, so the original plan was to do my squat
with baby,
squat push press with the baby.
Okay.
He's gone. So we're actually going to do something that I can't even do because.
What are you doing to me?
Because my coach sent the workout for today, and every week he throws in this new exercise, and I'm like, what the hell? And I couldn't get it. So this is now my challenge for over the next few weeks to see how long it takes me to get it. So it's a rolling single leg pistol squat.
Get ready for this.
I only got it double leg. I wasn't able to do a single leg, and even my double leg was.
Lord help me.
I'm trying to move all this baby stuff out the way so I can do it with you.
All right.
All right, you need me to demonstrate?
I need a demonstration.
Okay, let me adjust this.
I don't even know if I can repeat the name itself. It sounded very complicated.
Okay, so it's a rolling. I'm going to do double leg because I can't do the single leg.
Okay.
Yes, thank you. Rolling single leg pistol squat. If you can do single leg, great. I can only do double.
Okay.
I think I got to move this even more. Don't laugh at my toes. I haven't been able to get a pedicure. We're all in this together. So you start on the ground.
Okay.
Use your momentum to squat up.
Oh my gosh. I didn't even see it. That looked so complicated.
Let me back it up a little bit more. Okay. So roll back. Up.
Oh my gosh.
Bruce is in here. My coach is in here.
What up, Bruce? Here we go. Here?
Yeah, but don't use your hands. You're cheating.
Wait, I'm supposed to use both hands, right?
No, just your feet.
Okay, here we go, Bruce. Oh my God, there's no way.
So you got to engage your core. Use your momentum.
Okay. How many rolls back and forth do I get?
I did 10. But just
10?
imagine these were supposed to be single legs. Engage your core.
Is that it? Bruce, how do you rank that?
I sent him a message. I was like, you have to miss us. There's no way.
Bruce, send
you
me
came
your
up with
workout.
this one.
Okay, so that was the cheating way with 2 legs. You're supposed to do that with 1 leg?
I was supposed to do it with 1 leg. So that's my challenge to myself now. I'm having my own little challenge against myself. I'm going to post it to my page too. How long does it take me to get to single leg? Because I couldn't do it.
I'm gonna take you up on that challenge. I have a brand new workout that I want to work on right now. I couldn't even do 1. So my goal is to get 1 in, up it to 10, and then get a single leg in.
Hey, I'm just trying to get 1 single leg.
I'm gonna get you. You're gonna get a video from me pretty soon.
Okay, I'll be waiting for it.
And Bruce, thank you for the inspiration as well. Everybody, thank you so much for tuning in. Natasha, you are amazing. Thank you for spending time for us and being such an inspiration.
Thank you.
All right, everybody. Thanks so much.
Take care.